Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the Warrior Way, where I'm going to read this poem to you. It's called Reborn After the Storm, and then I will explain it a little bit afterwards. So here we go. The storm will rage as you turn the page, then you know you're busting out of that cage. Thunder and lightning as the rain pours down, getting excited to wear God's crown. You just don't know when it will stop, back and forth as it flip flops. But when it's over, a rainbow will appear, making God's presence crystal clear. The sun comes out, shines so bright, now just basking in God's light. You waited patiently, felt so long, but you kept singing that beautiful song. God is here, I am free, continuing to live in the mystery. All of a sudden, a magnificent sign, a school of birds, an incredible design. They fly right by with perfect precision, as it looks like they're on a mission. Where are they going? What are they pursuing? Maybe just playing is all they're doing. So you learn from them how to be children once again. To play morning until night, trusting God's timing is exactly right. After all, He created that storm only so you can be reborn. Thank you so much for listening. So, it's funny when you look at things around us that appear to be sometimes negative. We look at the world and we could see it from like a place of fear or a place of anxiety, a place of worry, like looking at the weather in the morning and seeing it's going to rain. Like a day like today, for example, it says, "Oh, there's going to be thunderstorms later in the day." And I'm looking outside right now, and it looks beautiful out. And to just go outside and just live your life. I mean, obviously, sometimes we want to know so that way we can prepare. You can bring the umbrella, you can bring the rain jacket, or dress appropriately for the occasion. But the truth is, you really don't know. It could end up being that it's not going to be a storm. We know that weather people are not always right. I think of the song from Dave Matthews Band called "Satellite," where he talks about laughing at the weathermen, right? That the weathermen don't know exactly what they're talking about all the time. They do the best they can, they do the best job they can, but they're predicting the future as opposed to like the present moment. So God controls the every moment to moment, and it can look like something, and it could look like a negative thing happening in the world, and really, ultimately, that negative thing is for ultimately for a positive outcome, usually in the end. Like as we know, after a storm, sometimes there's a rainbow, a beautiful thing appears after a storm. After that internal battle, you come out even stronger than you were before. So a lot of times, when you go through difficult things in life, as we know, as like a child, when you're a kid, at least when I was a kid, I was on sports teams, and the worst is when you lose. Like it's not a good feeling when you lose, but when you lose, you build resiliency, you build character, and then you're like, okay, the next time I'm gonna maybe make corrections or practice harder or focus stronger, or realize that it's possible to lose, therefore I have to do even more. So through these negative, quote unquote, what we think is negative or looks difficult or looks harmful or looks like scary, can ultimately become the most beautiful thing. We know that pregnancy for a woman is like that she goes through so much pain in childbirth. Not that I know from it, but she goes through so much pain in childbirth, but the most beautiful thing happens afterwards, a baby, which is the most beautiful thing we can create in this world, is another human being. It's so beautiful, but it comes through a lot of hardship for the woman, 9 months of carrying the baby, and then the labor itself, which is labor pains. So out from those pains comes the most beautiful thing in the world. And this spiritual journey is very much like a storm in a lot of ways, where the external world is what we're so used to focusing on, and getting external validation, whether it's from just words of affirmation from the people that we love, or whether it's wealth, or whether that's health, or whether that's whatever it is you're looking for, to feel good about yourself, whether it's like your desire system being fulfilled. But the spiritual world is kind of, it's a different journey. It's a journey of letting go of desires. It's a journey of letting go of all those things that we thought were important, ultimately for God and for the universe and for ourselves, for our growth. And all those beautiful things will come to us, whether it's love, wealth, health, um, will come to us over time. But it's really about letting go, and letting go of the stress, letting go of the anxieties, letting go of the fear, all because we know God is about to steer. God is the one who's in control. And we know that when we go into ourselves and go into our soul, that place of the soul where we let go of control. So we allow Him to take over, in a sense, that God, it's the funniest thing is that we still think that there's an element of like, well, what if I have to do? I have to do. And the answer is really you don't have to do. You have to do as much as you feel you need to do. And whatever that is, each person is different in terms of what they need to do, whether it's, whatever jobs they're doing, whatever work they're doing, you know what you need to do. And usually it stems around also like your family, different dynamics that are going on in your life. Like you have children, you have to take care of them, whatever it is. You have a partner, you have to deal with your partner. You have a dog, you have to take care of the dog. I see a lot of dogs, people walking their dogs in the morning. Like you got to take your dog for a walk, right? If you don't take your dog for, or you put them out in your backyard, as my neighbors do. But you got to do different things. There are certain things we have to do, but ultimately, it's all lessons. It's all for our good. Even what looks like the most difficult things in the world, and when you're on this spiritual journey, it can feel sometimes like a really strong feeling that comes back. It's like the storm rages inside of like, am I doing enough? Another Dave Matthews song. He says that was one of the lines he used in one of his songs about like, is this? I forget the line exactly, but is this like, did I do enough basically, or like should I be doing more? And the answer is like nobody knows really, because you can't fake out God. I wrote about this, and there's another poem I'm gonna share with you guys at a different time. But you can't fake out God because every moment God is dictating. So and again, about I mentioned about free will, there is really no free will. I mean, it's an illusion of free will. Yes, we feel like we have free will, and in essence, then we do have free will because I can make this video or not make this video. But ultimately, God knows already what was going to happen. You can't fake out the ultimate source of the universe that's one with it all. And when we understand that you can't fake it out, so you can do whatever it is you want to do, but it's not really free will. It was destined to happen anyway, which means that this term that I mentioned about being reborn, in a sense, you're going to be reborn whenever you need to be. You're going to awaken and be reborn at the exact moment that you're meant to. So, like when people say, like, you came onto this video at this exact moment, this is for your awakening, it is true. Like, if you're listening to this message right now and this is resonating with you, like, then this is your moment. It's not later. It's not yesterday. It's not the video before. It could be that you listened to things before that helped you as well. But the point is, if you're here at this exact moment, then you're ready to hear this particular message, right? So there's no mistakes made in this game. Everything is supposed to happen for a reason, and certain things trigger people other like more than others to begin their awakening process. And sometimes it's a video, sometimes it's a bird that flies by, sometimes it's a rainbow that appears, sometimes it's a storm. But every single moment is by design, is by divine timing, and that God sends it to you at exactly the precise time. There's not a mistake made in the game, and every moment is just as urgent as the next. Again, that doesn't mean that urgency should create a feeling of stress and anxiety. And if that's the case, then I would say to take a breath, take a pause. There's no race to feel like you have to do something in this exact moment. The feeling should feel There was a great moment in this woman's video that I was watching where she took a pause, and she took like a good like 30-second pause, and it was a beautiful moment of like, it's okay however long you need to take, because it shouldn't feel rushed, it shouldn't feel pressured, it shouldn't feel like I have to say something that is not aligned with what I want to say. And at the same time, if you say it, right? There's no mistakes. And I know it's hard for people to hear that sometimes, because then what does that mean? Like if I hurt somebody or if someone hurt somebody, then there was not a mistake. They're allowed to hurt people or kill someone, right? The answer is yeah, in a sense they were allowed to. I mean, it doesn't mean that we would say go do it. You're hurting someone, so you're creating suffering for another human being. And yes, it was meant to be because it already happened. But prior to it happening, like right now, I'd have to stop it. Like if I saw someone trying to hurt somebody, my job would be to try to stop that person from hurting that person, or I can't stop someone from saying words, but I can stop someone. Actually, if I see someone start beating someone up, I can go and stop it. But if I'm sitting here and someone's going over there, I can say, hey, don't do that, right? Like people need to stop being violent. Yes, 100%. And being angry, so much anger in the world and fears and all that stuff. I tell people, get out of it, including myself. Like, don't feed into the fear. Sometimes the fear creeps in, and I take a breath and I come back and I'm like, God has me. It's all meant to be. Like whatever's triggering me, whether it's, my mind that something's going on in here, or whether it's something happened, like someone cut me off driving, or my child did something, or whatever it is, that just to calm. exactly know that it's like that's exactly meant to be the way it's meant to be. And we're supposed to do our best to stop, I think, to stop the suffering that's going on in the world and to alleviate suffering, whether that's donate money or give, gifts, whatever it is, give to people that we can give someone food, money, shelter, whatever it is we can help someone with to get rid of suffering. Absolutely. But that doesn't mean that if something happens that causes suffering that it wasn't meant to happen. It was meant to happen for those particular people that are experiencing that in that moment. You create your own realities by the things you watch with your eyes, you listen to, you hear all these things, whatever you watch on videos, you're watching those things. So if you're watching a lot of violent things, maybe it could create a feeling of this fear and you could be maybe learning from it. Video games that could be like that or acting like that out in the world. The more you're doing that or watching the news, things that are creating separations, things that are creating division, things that are creating anxiety. So then you're going to probably experience more of those things and you may become reactionary to it. As opposed to if you start to sit in nature, if you start to meditate, if you start to do maybe yoga or exercise or rollerblade or bike ride or be outside or do activities that are engaging for yourself that are positive, whatever that is. I joke, I'm joke, but I was talking to some people the other day about me playing sports back in the day. When I used to play sports back in the day with other people, not my own individual sports, playing sports with other people, I used to get very worked up, and sometimes I get angry, and I did things that were like not okay for me now. Obviously, it was okay back then because I did it. Um, my kid was mentioning that one of his coaches did something years ago, and but it was so many years ago. Like it happens. Like it sounds crazy when you hear about certain activities that people do. It sounds crazy, but and it maybe it was crazy for that particular moment, but that doesn't mean it wasn't meant to be. It was meant to be, otherwise it couldn't have happened. Nothing could happen without God saying it's allowed. Doesn't mean that there's not going to be karma. Doesn't mean that you're not going to have to deal with it later in a certain way. Your own karma, because of what you do, it creates these things in the world for you to fix in a sense. But at the same time, it's really nothing you could do to change it at this point except for working on yourself and being here, being now in this present moment. Whatever's happened, happened. Whatever's going to be is going to be. But what's going to be more than likely is we understand that based on how we are now, we start moving in that trajectory. I look back on my life and I realize like, oh my God, over the last 3 years or so, I really am not the same person I was back then. Um, but only I know that. I mean, other people can maybe see it if they were around me long enough, I guess, right? People that are currently in my life will know that I'm definitely not the same person I was from 3 years ago. But a lot of people might not know that, and that's okay. My job and our job is not to necessarily prove it to anybody, is to show that we're somebody else, just to be that person, and to know that ultimately it's not about anybody else. It's about us feeling good in that moment. About the rebirth is not for anybody else. It's for ourselves to be free, to be free of the prison mind, to be free of the stuff that was holding us back, to be free of our desires. I don't know. Sometimes, like, am I completely free of certain things? I don't know. Like, I need to eat. I need to sleep. Um, I need shelter. I need food. There are certain things you just need. So are you free? Well, you're free in a certain sense if you're just keep on coming back, and it doesn't matter if you're free like the next moment. You just need to be free this moment, and then this moment, and then this moment, and then you just keep going moment to moment, and know that then you know your life when you're not reacting anymore to the stuff that's trying to get you to react, or at least not as much. You start to know that, whoa, I have been reborn. I'm no longer that same person. So if this helped you in any way, if you feel a little bit different than you did when you started this video, maybe a little bit reborn, because you did listen to this message, so therefore something from you might be already feeling like, oh, a new beginning. So yeah, share in the comments, comment about your own life and tell me more about what's going on with you and that feeling of like changes in your spiritual journey and your awakening. I would love to hear. Thank you so much.